Today I want to talk about understanding connection when you grip your pistol. But before I do that, one channel note here. I'm testing a new audio solution. I'm in my office. Happy to be in my office. In the Arizona office, by the way. It's nicer here than up north. It was like 8 degrees when I left yesterday, so I'm happy to be back in Arizona. Anyway, testing an audio solution. This is the mobile audio solution, even though it's sitting right next to my computer, but I'm recording on the mobile thing. Let me know how the audio is. I put a test video up. I think it's better. I think it's a little bit better. And if you guys okay it, this will be the mobile solution moving forward. I think it's okay. I think it'll be better. And just remember, there's stuff in queue that was not recorded on this, but more things are coming. Anyway, connection. What do I mean when I talk about connection? So what we want is, first, you need a spot on your pistol to connect to. Right here, my support hand on the grip panel. This requires that the pistol be sized so I can actually do this. With a full-size pistol, it's not too bad, but as they get smaller, this gets tougher and tougher to do. Anyway, I'm gonna connect my support hand to the pistol, and what that means is, I have enough pressure on it that the relationship between my hands and the gun is not gonna change as I'm shooting, and really as I'm shooting quickly. Stuff you look for is, first, if you feel or sense some loss of control with your support hand, a lot of times your dominant hand's gonna tense up and start driving the gun down. Pay attention for that. That's a good sign that you're not staying connected. The other thing you'll pay attention to is, usually you see the trigger guard bouncing off your support hand like this. Now, what should happen is both hands and the gun move together. They move as a unit when you're shooting. And a lot of times, if you're watching carefully from the side, you'll see people kind of shooting like this. And you can see my support hand staying in place, my dominant hand and the gun moving. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit as far as how dramatic this is going to look, but you can usually tell, if people, lose the connection with their support hand. It's critical that you maintain enough pressure into the frame of the gun, not into your fingers, but into the actual frame. Again, that the gun is not slipping around. All right, this is different with different weights of guns. Now, this is a heavy gun with grip panels that have a lot of texture on them. So as guns go, this one's pretty easy to stay connected to. As the guns get lighter, it gets a little more difficult. Like this Glock 34 here, it's lighter weight, sure, but we got some grip tape on it right here. So again, this is pretty easy to stay locked into as long as I apply positive pressure into the frame of the gun. I'm not gonna lose that connection, especially even as I'm shooting quickly. Now with slick like this, there we go. This 17 here has nothing on the side of it, and it's possible to stay connected to this, of course. But shooting hot ammo and shooting aggressively, this is one of the toughest ones I've got. To stay connected. As the guns get smaller and lighter, it's harder to keep your hand stuck in place. Now, you can use some chalk or some grip enhancer, something like that, to make it easier to hold on to this if you want. Competitive shooters are going to use that all the time. You might want to train without it, depending on why you're even shooting. You might choose, hey, I'm not going to use stuff like that, and that is cool too. But anyway, you've got to maintain positive pressure into the frame of the pistol, again, so the gun's not sliding around. And this hoe does like to jump around. Okay, so that's what I mean when I'm talking about connection. So why is this important? Well, what I see a lot from people in classes is they'll intellectually understand none of that stuff that I just talked about is really complicated. Not hard to understand. But where people have a problem is from the training perspective. As they're not really training themselves, to stay connected, they just don't, that's not a part of their thinking actively while they're training. This is something you have to think about, especially initially. So people intellectually understand what I'm talking about, but you have to enforce it. You have to force yourself to do this. For a good example, when you dry fire, when you draw, you have to, consciously build that connection to the pistol. And then as you finish drawing, it's yep, okay, I'm connected to it. And you consciously check that grip. If you practice like that, hey, just draw to a good grip, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day for a couple of weeks, where you're consciously thinking about, hey, get on that connection, like make sure positive pressure into the frame, like the gun's not going to slide around, get it out there. Yep, okay, that looks good. You have to, if you consciously think through that, it'll become a habit and you don't have to think about it anymore. I mean, at least not for a while. When you go out and you test with live ammunition, you know, as you're shooting really aggressively, what should happen is if you lose connection, or let's say I'm shooting my Glock 17 here and this thing starts to slide around, that should feel wrong to me immediately. Like I should be like, ooh, like something's going on, because the sight won't return perfect every time. It'll, you know, things will start to change. Maybe my dominant hand will start to tense up to try to, you know, rectify the situation, which isn't going to work. But, you know, I have to start to feel what wrong feels like when I'm out doing my own training with live ammunition. So dry fire, you know, enforce the connection, go shoot aggressively, see what happens, and start feeling it break down. And then you start training in a cycle like that, and you'll get a lot better really, really quickly. I hope this helps, guys. Questions, comments, you can put it back down below.